Hello my friends, we're going to interpret the birth chart of musician Tori Amos using Vibrational Astrology. This is part 13 in a series of 14 videos. We will be interpreting harmonic charts, and if you're not familiar with harmonic charts, I have a link near the top of the slide to a tutorial video that explains harmonic charts, and at the bottom I have a link to the first video in the series, which also has links to all of the other tutorials in this series. Here's the birth chart of Tori Amos. Who is Tori Amos? Here's a little information about her. As a child prodigy of 5, whoa, okay, let's start right there. Child prodigy of 5 years old, she wins a scholarship to study classical music at Baltimore's Peabody Conservatory. Okay, well that's a little bit different from a lot of the other musicians. Now while there, she fell in love with rock and roll music, writing pop ballads and performing in local bars. By age 13, she was performing her songs at clubs in Washington, D.C. We have a child prodigy here. Okay, some kind of exceptional talent. What do we expect with a child prodigy in music? Probably 35th harmonic. Because children usually don't have that kind of focus to develop at such an early age with such proficiency. So she's got some rock emphasis, maybe some Venus-Uranus getting involved. Her music is also rather complex and sophisticated. Her storylines. So this is going to be interest. We have a kind of a musical genius here who goes into rock music and is very successful with the rock genre. Let's look at our 11th harmonic. What do we see? We see a T-square. We see Venus square Uranus in the 11th. 26 degrees Virgo, 27 Sag. We allow a 4-degree orb, so she does have the Venus-Uranus. So, rock music. She left classical music, and it's basically a T-square. She's got a Venus, Mars, Saturn, Uranus. So it's not just the Venus-Uranus. So this Saturn-Uranus means change. We see this over and over again. She's going to do something different, and boy, does she do something different. So we're seeing Saturn-Uranus with all these people making radical changes to find a new freedom. So let me read my notes here. Venus square Uranus. There's a Venus, Mars, Saturn, Uranus T-square. Her impulse for rock music makes sense. But this has nothing to do with child prodigy. This is pretty much out of control. It's so out of control there's some concern about sexuality. Because we have Venus, Mars, Uranus and hard aspects in the 11th. Erratic tendencies. And that was part of her life as well. So there's something erratic here, out of control, different. She goes into the rock music, but and she does really wild, weird, different things, as we expect. Where is this maturity that she is a child prodigy going to this music conservatory at such a young age? We're thinking 35. Will it show up? Whoa, look at all these lines all over the place. Why did I make this mess of all these lines? Because she has so many midpoint structures in the 35th harmonic. It's absolutely mind-boggling, and I had trouble even drawing all of them. This is what we call the purple lines. Okay, we've got light blue lines, purple lines. These purple lines are what we call an augmented pyramid, where a pyramid is where you have a midpoint structure. For example, Venus is at Sun-Uranus. Well, how about Venus at Sun-Uranus for a musician? Classic, right? I mean, that's just classic. And here it is over here with 24-minute orb. So there's a midpoint structure. Now, let's see, how do we get the pyramid? Let's see, the Venus, Sun, Uranus, we have the Venus and Uranus are going to Neptune. So here's Neptune at Venus-Uranus. So that makes it a pyramid because we've taken two of these planets, the Sun, Venus, Uranus, we've taken the Venus, Uranus, and they're focused on Neptune. So we get the magic of the music. Remember, this is all 35, so this is mature music that seeks, like a classical quality of refinement. Now we've got 4 planets involved, Sun, Venus, Mars, and Neptune. And then we add a 5th planet, Jupiter, and we get another midpoint. So the idea of these pyramids is you add one more planet and you get yet another midpoint. So we have 5 planets making 3 midpoint structures. So Sun is at Jupiter Uranus with an 8-minute orb. If you're getting confused, what it is there's just a ton of midpoints, 3 midpoint structures from 5 planets. And we're seeing music, Venus at Sun Uranus. We're seeing Sun at Jupiter Uranus, again, Venus Uranus. This is enthusiastic, bouncy. Maybe some of the classical music was a little bit too heavy for her. And then, as if that's not enough, there's a whole other pattern, these light blue pattern, going on where Mercury is at Moon Jupiter, and then Mars is at Mercury Uranus. That gives speed and agility. We have child prodigy, 35th harmonic child prodigy, mind-boggling midpoint pattern. And if you're an astrologer and you think this is unbelievable, that high harmonics like 35 and midpoint patterns sound too abstract and weird, the idea is that there's a sophisticated, beautiful tapestry of energies with incredible symmetries and elegance that's flowing through us all the time. And here we see it with Tori Amos. We found her. We found the child prodigy. We found the breakout into music. We see both sides of her. It's amazing how clearly we see Tori Amos in her chart. So conclusions: exceptional music talent, the extraordinary midpoint in the 35th harmonic with the emphasis on Venus Uranus, child prodigy. We see the 11th harmonic, her move away from classical music, her rebelliousness, you might say, her weirdness, her stepping outside the box to do these weird, strange, inventive new things with the Venus, Mars, Saturn, Uranus. My friends, that is the extraordinary Tori Amos. And again, we see how our gifts, I talked about this with Donovan's chart, how our gifts and talents are built out of these exquisite patterns. We should thank God for them, you could say, count our blessings, utilize them. When you see the astrological energies behind these gifts, to me it just really inspires my appreciation of it. Okay, my friends, that is Tori Amos. If you want to watch the last video, part 14 in this series, you want to go straight to it, it's Jerry Garcia. I've got a link to it. Remember, at the beginning of this video, I also have a link to the first video in the series, which also has links to all of the videos in this series on musicians. Thank you very much, my friends, for listening. God bless. Namaste.